The river does not care about your skills. It does not care about your gear. To the river, you are just an obstacle in the way of gravity. Water is heavy, it weighs roughly 62 pounds per cubic foot. That means a knee-deep current moving at a moderate pace is hitting your legs with the force of a tackling linebacker every single second. If you underestimate this force, you don't just get wet, you get processed. Most people look at a river and see a path. I see a hydraulic machine designed to crush bone and steal body heat. Crossing a river is one of the most statistically dangerous maneuvers in any survival scenario. One slip, one bad foothold, or one piece of bad advice can lead to a terminal outcome in seconds. Today, I am downloading 10 high-level river crossing protocols into your brain. We are going to cover the physics of friction, the geometry of flow, and how to turn your gear into a life-saving device. These are not camping tips. They are the laws of hydrodynamics. You need to stay with me until the very end because technique number 10 is the grand finale. It is a trap called the Deadman's Tether. It is the single most common mistake people make when trying to be safe, but in reality, it turns you into a fishing lure that never surfaces. If you use a rope incorrectly, it is game over. Let's get to work. Number 1, the stick gauge velocity test. You arrive at the riverbank. It looks fast, but you think you can make it. This is your first critical error, relying on your eyes instead of physics. The science of the force, human depth perception fails when looking at moving water. The surface can look smooth while the undercurrent is churning with lethal torque. If you step into water that is moving faster than your maximum walking speed, the hydraulic pressure will sweep your legs out from under you instantly. Once you are horizontal, you are no longer crossing, you are debris. The pro solution, before you even touch the water, find a floating stick something about the size of your forearm. Throw it into the main channel. Now, try to walk along the bank parallel to the stick. If the stick is moving faster than you can walk on dry land, the river is uncrossable. Do not engage. It is a kill zone. If you can easily outwalk the stick, then and only then do you consider entering the water. Number 2, the death clip release. You decide the speed is safe. You step in with your backpack buckled tight for stability. You have just strapped an anchor to your spine. The visceral mechanics, most modern backpacks are designed to hug your body. But if you slip and fall into deep water, that pack is full of air pockets and gear. Initially, it floats, pushing your face underwater. Then, it fills with water, becoming a 60-pound concrete block attached to your chest and waist. The panic sets in. You try to reach the buckles, but the tension of the weight makes it impossible to release. You are dragged to the bottom. The pro solution. This is a non-negotiable rule. Before your boots touch the liquid, you must unbuckle your hip belt and your sternum strap. Loosen the shoulder straps. If you lose your footing and go for a swim, you must be able to shimmy out of that pack in less than 1 second. You dump the gear to save the machine. If you are attached to your gear, you go where the gear goes and gravity only pulls one way. Number 3, the tripod stability protocol. You are crossing solo. You are balancing onto legs. In fluid dynamics, pipe is inherently unstable. You are fighting a constant lateral force. The science of leverage. When you lift one leg to take a step, you are momentarily balanced on a single point of contact. The current strikes that single leg and pivots you like a revolving door. This rotational force is what causes the slip. Once you lose friction, the current takes over. The pro solution, you need to become a tripod. Find a sturdy, green sapling dry wood might snap under pressure. It needs to be roughly the height of your shoulder. Position the pole upstream from you. Lean into it. This creates a triangle of stability. When you move the pole first, plant it firmly, and then move your feet. You always maintain at least 2, preferably 3, points of contact with the riverbed at all times. This third leg absorbs the energy of the river so your muscles don't have to. This keeps you upright, unlike the terrifying mistake in number 10, which uses gear to drag you down. Number 4, the V-Wedge Vortex Breaker. You are with the group. The natural instinct is to hold hands in a line side by side or walk single file. This is a recipe for a domino effect failure. The hydrodynamic drag. If you walk side by side, you create a massive surface area sail for the water to push against. If one person falls, they drag the whole chain down. If you walk single file, the person in the back takes the same force as the person in the front. The pro solution, you must construct a V-wedge or a tight line parallel to the current. The strongest, heaviest member of the group stands at the very front, facing upstream. They break the current. This creates a flow shadow or low-pressure eddy directly behind them. The weaker or lighter members stand in this eddy, holding onto the waist or pack of the person in front. The group moves as a single, solid unit. The leader fights the river. Everyone else walks in a safe zone. Number 5. The shuffling friction walk. You are in the middle of the river. The rocks are slippery. You take a big step to get over a stone. That is when you go down. The physics of surface area. The moment you lift your foot off the riverbed, two things happen. First, you lose 50% of your friction. Second, the current catches the sole of your boot, acting like a sail, and whips your leg downstream. This destroys your balance. You cannot walk in a river like you walk on land. The pro solution: you must never lift your feet. You shuffle, slide your feet along the bottom, feeling for gaps, holes, and loose rocks before you commit your weight. Keep your stance wider than your shoulders. By keeping your feet in contact with the substrate, you maintain friction and keep your center of gravity low. You are a tank, not a gazelle. Do not bounce slide. This technique keeps you grounded, which is critical because the trap in item 10 is designed to make sure that if you do fall, you never get back up. Number 6. The Ferry angle vector. You see the exit point on the other bank directly across from you. You walk straight toward it. You end up exhausted and swept downstream. The vector math: if you walk straight across 90 degrees to the current, the water is hitting you perfectly sideways. This is the maximum surface area for impact. You have to fight 100% of the river's force to stay on that line. The pro solution: you must use the Ferry angle. Angle your body and your path 45 degrees upstream. You are walking diagonally against the flow. Paradoxically, this uses the force of the water to push you down into the riverbed, increasing the traction of your boots. It's like a spoiler on a race car. The water pushes you into the ground, not over it. You will land upstream of your target, but you will land dry and safe. Number 7. The Poncho Raft flotation. You reach a section that is too deep to walk. It's a swimming channel. You cannot swim with a 50-pound pack. You will sink like a stone. The buoyancy hack: you need to turn your liability into an asset. A backpack is dense, but it has air gaps. If you wrap it in a waterproof barrier, it becomes a massive balloon. The pro solution: lay out your poncho or tarp. Place your backpack in the center. Fold the sides up and roll the top down tight like a dry bag. Tie it off securely with a gooseneck seal to prevent air from escaping. Now, instead of a heavy anchor, you have a flotation device. Push it into the water and hold onto it. It will support your upper body weight. Kick with your legs to cross the deep channel. You are using your gear to float, rather than letting it drown you. Number 8. The defensive swimmer posture. You made a mistake. You slipped. You are now floating downstream in fast water. Your instinct is to try and stand up. This is the foot entrapment trap. The visceral danger: if you try to stand up in fast water that is deeper than your knees, your foot can get wedged between rocks on the bottom. The current pushes your body forward, but your foot stays stuck. The water forces your face underwater. The pressure is immense, hundreds of pounds pinning you down. You cannot do a sit-up against that force. This is how strong swimmers meet a terminal outcome in 3 feet of water. The pro solution: never try to stand until the water is calm and shallow. Flip onto your back immediately. Point your feet downstream. Keep your nose and toes to the sky. Your butt should be up near them. Surface: your feet act as shock absorbers to bounce off rocks. Use your hands to scull paddle sideways toward an eddy or the shore. Ride the flow until it weakens. Do not fight it. Number 9. The improvised PFD inflation. You were separated from your gear. You have no life jacket. You are treading water in a deep, cold river. Your energy is fading fast. The pro solution: you are wearing a life jacket, it's just on your legs. You need to perform the pan inflation maneuver. While treading water, take off your pants. Tie a tight overhand knot in each leg hole, or tie the legs together. Zip up the fly and button the waist. Now, hold the waist open behind your head and swing it over your head into the water, trapping a massive bubble of air inside the legs. Cinch the waist tight underwater with your hands. Put your head through the legs or hold it against your chest. You now have a pair of pants filled with 5 gallons of air. This buoyancy allows you to stop treading water, conserve heat, and focus on self-rescue. Number 10. The Deadman's Tether trap. This is the grand finale. This is the mistake that looks like safety but functions like an execution. The concept: you see people in movies tying a rope around their waist and having a friend on the shore hold the other end. They think, if I fall, they can pull me in. The lethal reality: in a strong current, a rope is a death sentence. If you fall and the rope goes tight, the current will push you under. Because of the vector forces, the water will plane your body downward. You will be held underwater, pinned by the force of the river. You cannot swim up because the rope is holding you back. You cannot reach the knot to untie it because the tension is hundreds of pounds. You are a lure on a fishing line, and the river is the fish that swallows you whole. The pro solution: never, ever tie a rope directly to your body for a river crossing unless it is attached to a specialized quick-release harness located on your chest, which you can trigger with one hand in a panic. If you don't have that specific gear, do not use a rope. It is better to wash downstream in a defensive swimmer position than to be tethered to the bottom of the river. Crossing a river is about respecting the energy of the water. If you fight the physics, you lose. If you use the physics, you survive. In the next video, we will dive deeper into water purification methods. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Stay dry and stay safe.